All right. Virgo. I'm really excited about this one for you. This one might have been reversed. I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes it does, but it doesn't really. I could read it either way. So this month you're already heading into it, feeling this Aquarian, feeling this airness, feeling also the wateriness. A lot of people mistake Aquarius for water sign. And we have what is also known as Cancer here, Leo, Gemini, also strong Gemini energy with High Priestess in the Sun. So this airiness, wateriness, bringing up different, what thought processes are dominant, what belief systems are dominant, what clearly doesn't work but tries to make its way back into your life, even if it's people. This is normally it doesn't. Okay, so when we don't like people, or we want to be away from situations, or we feel iffy with certain people around certain situations, and it doesn't have to be the same people, but it's always just a feeling. It's always a feeling. It doesn't, and I'm not saying this to say people are all the same, but we all operate different frequencies, energy levels. If you're someone who is normally in your own energy, yes, it will feel uncomfortable to be around 50 other people's, unless you're well adjusted. And I think what you're beginning to notice is that you, for a long time, have been adjusting. You are still adjusting. You are still realizing, and with Mercury entering Aquarius on the 11th, still in good old Capricorn, you've kind of come to a wall with this. And you're realizing what parts of you may need to be expressed more. Like, you may have a lot to offer. You may have so much, but you're not expressing it. You're just holding it in. That's not helping anybody. Even if it feels uncomfortable, it's really important for you to try some things out right now. Notice whether it's uncomfortable or just not you. But notice also when you ask yourself, when you want to get to a certain place, or you want to go and you have certain goals, or you want to go a certain direction and you're hoping to continue in a certain direction, it doesn't have to be a destination, but you want to evolve and go through these things. And if certain things are coming up, like more communication with your maybe media, or how you connect with others, the more that you open up in the ways that look like that. So it could be on social media, it could be in person, it could be at your job, it could be maybe you meet someone this month, like a friend, and you're out at a place that you like to go. It doesn't necessarily have to be like out at a bar or what people normalize as social, but it could be coffee. Like, can you tell I love my coffee? You could be just, or picking up, or just like you naturally move into like a new class or a new hobby, and you try something, it feels easy, effortless, you go there, you just hit it off with someone, they have a connection for you for what you want to do, and all of a sudden the structure and how you think of something, even if you already know that's true, but just go with the metaphor here, Queen of Metaphors, maybe that can lead somewhere. There's an openness that you're finding beginning to happen. And that's been through realizing that maybe for you, certain structures that demand specific qualities all the time, or just very, Venusian, because Venus is in your opposite sign now. And Taurus and Libra coming up here very strong, but more importantly, the Empress has control over what they want. They can choose another look. They can choose another way of going about things, of ruling something and switching it up, because she's so trusting in what she has and the operation that is going. Justice and the Hierophant need a structure. Justice has the justice system, has the laws of karma, which all of these have for sure. But it's like, it's treading almost black and white sometimes, which Libras can be, and so can Tauruses. But the Hierophant is more about this higher spiritual nature. You're beginning to connect what Virgo can do so amazingly. The higher version with the physical. being so unattached to whatever systems are even in play that you're finding your own. You're a Mercury sign. I think people forget that. You're creating your own, and people may not understand it or get it, and you know, you don't need to talk about it, but sometimes you do, and they still don't get it or understand it, and you're kind of like, oh, why am I talking to these people about it? So don't. Maybe instead you find an outlet to educate people who want to actually hear, even if it's a couple. But you know what you have is good. If you know your word is good and what you say is good, then you put it out there and you see what happens. Oops. Sorry. So basically what I was saying, if you heard me, is that if you know something's good, you put it out there, you see what happens. That's all you have to do. You see what happens. And all of a sudden, in this moment, all I hear is this fountain that we have now. We always have a fountain. Do you know Quietest Revolution? Meet me at the fountain. But it's a kiddie fountain, and all of a sudden, just everything else went quiet. But the fountain's going. I don't have to be reminded that water's always running. Or if I'm breathing. And certain things are going to get better really quickly. And you can't even be attached to that. Because this is where they say we should always be. Always humble with your head down. Going the distance. Off into the distance. Somewhere that, even with this perspective, you can't fully know until you do it. So once you do that, even though it's the 3 to 4, you realize this doesn't necessarily mean what this picture depicts. Depiction. Maybe, I got Virgo placements too, creating some new words. Maybe they'll become real one day. You see that life is now shifting and shaping in a way that you have been hard at work at doing. Doesn't matter how long, it just matters the power of feeling and effort that goes into it. It may take a while because responsibility does add up. But it's trusting that once you have it, that this doesn't just go away. Sometimes it will slow down, but that's so that you're, when people are on a roll and then all of a sudden you don't see them, you gotta integrate. Let it process. Be with it. Enjoy it. Live. Do things you haven't done. Try things you haven't yet experienced with people that want to experience that with you. Like, it doesn't have to be go get something and shock people or try to get more attention. It's not that. Just enjoy what you have and how you want to enjoy it with and whom, or however you want to put that together. However you want, just do it. It's not going to hurt the value. It's not going to cause harm to that at all. But don't just listen to anybody either. People want to talk to you about some shit that you don't really care about, and you have to go on a limb and be like, yo, if I say I don't care about talking about this all the time, are we still like friends? Vulnerability. Are we still going to be cool if this is a romantic partner? It may cause a little friction, but with a little damage control, it'll be fine. With, not backing out of that, it'll be fine. So it's pretty much just really trusting and believing in yourself in a way that is possible, that you've had before. It's just under different circumstances. Something has shifted. You have shifted. You have overcome something huge. And it's something to be proud of, and celebrating is just by keeping it up. You know, it's like, you know, when people are like, oh my God, I lost so much weight, and then they go out and gorge themselves. Is that celebrating? Like, what are cheat days? Why is it okay to cheat on some days? I don't know. I just don't like it, and I never figured out why. And I'm like, oh, duh. Because, like, just have what you want when you want it. If you call it cheating, if you call it these things, and you're like if you're someone who's in a monogamous relationship, but you could just do poly or whatever the fuck you want to do, just do that and be honest with people who are down to be the same way. You know, it's not like you're trying, like, you know, this double life shit is merging, basically. No matter where that is. People are going to find out that you're a good person. Some people are not, or don't give a fuck. You know, it's just going to be how it is. And you're just going to go out and into the light, man. And people are going to decide. But you, more importantly, are going to decide who you are and how you keep developing and evolving. You know? What is a Virgo when they're not holding on to anything and they're just in their zone, have everything they need, only going after what they want, or it's just a whole creative wonder. And I think there's some kind of ode that needs to be paid to Taurus that we showed, you know, the Empress and the Hierophant coming up, is that it takes a lot to nurture something sometimes, and a lot of groundwork. And for you, nurturance means just like, I personally just cannot keep anything. If my house feels too cluttered, if something feels off, it's got to be cleared out. Something's got to move. A plant, you know, if it's not doing well, it really isn't doing well, I got to admit, you know, defeat. Let's cut it off, put it in some water, see if it can work out that way. Like, it's just pivoting is what, you know, what a lot of people say now, but that is in basketball. We're in structure, but you're just trying different things. Yeah, just don't be attached too much. We're just going to leave it at that. All right, Virgo, we'll see you next month.